This is TWiT.
So I think if I'm looking all up at Microsoft for this coming year, the thing I have to remember every time I write a story is they are obsessed with Chromebooks and ChromeOS, whether they ever say that or not. And I think, like, they don't, if you ask them about it, if you say, do you guys care about Chromebooks? They're like, oh, you know what? We don't really ever see that in competition. They are obsessed with it. And they should be, right? I mean,
I think they're the only company that made an anti-Chromebook ad ever. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
With the Pawn
but
Stars.
if you look at,
I wouldn't buy that for $1 million.
Right. But if you look at where does Windows fit anymore in their equation? It's on the desktop, and it's in devices like slates and tablets, and that's their main competition. There is Chrome, and I think they don't want to say we're really worried about Chromebooks. We're scared of how they're penetrating not just in education but in other markets that are key to us. But this is driving them. And in our last episode, when Chris Capicella talked about his hidden gems, remember one of them was Surface Go. And they definitely see that as a Chromebook competitor. And there's a reason he called that out. He never mentioned Chromebooks, but
that's interesting. You know, I had Windows 10 Lean as one of my items, and this is the coming Chromebook or Chrome OS competitor.
Yep.
But one thing I did over, I guess it would have been last weekend, was I went through the thousands of articles we published last year and tried to establish some of the key themes, you know, from 2018. And originally, I haven't published a bunch of it because originally some of the big stuff from last year was obviously like the Intel Spectre Meltdown stuff and whatever. But I had so many Microsoft stories and then so many Windows 10 specific stories that I kind of just did a top 10 for that. And then I'll see if I'll get to any of this other stuff. But the one thing that just missed the list, it was basically number 11, was Microsoft's continued education push. And you actually saw this throughout last year in a variety of ways. There's the big education show at the beginning of the year. I think it's called BET.
Yeah, BET.
And you can expect a bunch of stuff from Microsoft around that. But there were other initiatives last year related to education. And I think, not that they didn't always have an education strategy of some kind, but if we go back a little bit further to May of 2017, when they announced Surface Laptop and kind of formally said, look, this is how we're going to deal with Chrome in education. They've had some pretty good successes since then. But you're right.
They don't, you know who's in charge, right, of Windows and education?
I feel like I should know that.
You should.
I bet I'm going to, yeah, when you say it, I'll
Is it Mavis Beacon?
No. The last name does begin with the B, though. Joe Belfiore.
No, really?
Oh, no, that's not what okay. Joe Belfiore.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Yeah.
That's not what I was thinking at all.
Because he's got beetle hair.
That's why.
The kids love him for his long hair.
Sure.
No, that's what, he wears a lot of hats at Microsoft. His title is something like Windows Corporate VP, but one of the main areas he's in charge of is education.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Fascinating.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we should be hearing from Joe and company soon. And we'll see. They don't usually call out Chromebook explicitly, which I find kind of interesting, other than to say, Windows 10 in education grew this much and it's more than Chrome did. And, just to kind of make that comparison. But, yeah, I think the education thing's going to be a big story this year for sure.
Yep.
They used to dominate education, right? And that's the thing.
Well, they still do, but they've lost a lot of ground. Well, they still compete. It depends on the market. Depends on the country. Chromebook kind of came up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think they actually dominate anywhere worldwide. Maybe worldwide, maybe outside the U.S. Or outside North America they do, but Chromebooks are just like killing it.
Yeah, and it's not just the United States. This is one thing a lot of people, people fall to kind of succumb to this notion of if I don't see it, it's not happening, which I take great exception to. But Chromebooks are huge in education in the United States. They're also huge in education in certain countries in Western Europe and also in Australia and New Zealand. And it's one of those snowball things. Like it's real, and the benefits of the platform are real. So this is something Microsoft has to address. It's not just perception. It's these things actually work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at numbers now. K through 12 in the U.S., Chromebooks and ChromeOS dominate. Windows in the rest of the world, but
well, dominate what? I mean, new device sales or
mobile computing shipments.
Established. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. So it's highly likely that most education-based PCs in the United States are actually still Windows PCs. It's just that over the past 3-4 years, whatever it's been, shipments of Chromebooks have exploded, and that's the thing Microsoft's trying. They want to stem that tide before it gets, before it's too late.
Yeah.